Okay, this is a video on how to set the tire pressures on a vehicle with tire pressure sensors. So this is a 2015 Chevy Silverado, and although the valve stems look normal, they actually have tire pressure sensors inside that send a signal to a computer inside the car telling the driver how much air is in each tire. Now, some sensors are set up where you just get a light that says tires are low, check tires. This particular vehicle is set up so each tire sends a pressure signal to the instrument cluster, and I can read the tire pressures of each tire when the engine's running. So as you can see, the tire pressure is 28, 31, 32, and 34. Well, these all can't be correct, so I need to check what the tire pressure is actually supposed to be. And what I'll do is I'll look at the tag on the B pillar, and it says here tire and loading information. So this is on the driver's door B pillar, and it says 35 psi for all tires when the pressure is cold. So what do we do? Well, now we have to put an air chuck on an air hose and fill up the tire. The air chuck we're using is the kind that has a built-in gauge. So at this end is the nozzle that actually attaches to the valve stem, as I'll be showing you. And then on the top here is a gauge. And then there's the button to add the air. And then on the side, there's another button to let the air out of the tire if we overfilled it. So now we're going to use the air coupling and couple these two together. Now that I've done that, I can start filling the air in the left front tire. So the way I'll do that is I'll take the valve stem off. I'll put the end of that air chuck nozzle right onto the valve stem, push firmly, and then press the trigger to fill the air. I can also see what the air pressure is when my hand is off that button. Just by pushing this nozzle in place, I can actually see what the air pressure is. So I'm going to keep adding it till I get to what the gauge says is about 35 psi. And I'll show you that in just a second so you can see what's going on here with the actual gauge. So right here, notice my thumb is not touching that trigger. So now when you see the air pressure, you'll see it's right at about 35 psi. Sorry if it's blurry. So now that I've done this, I need to put the valve stem cap back on. Now you need to make sure you do this on every wheel because you do not want your valve stems getting rusty inside. They could leak. So now I'm doing the left rear tire, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Check the pressure and set it to 35 psi. And when I'm done setting it, I'm going to put that valve stem cap back on there. If you find a car without valve stem caps, make sure you put some on. Now I'm doing the right front tire, setting that pressure as well. And if I overfill it, remember I can press that little brass button on the side and release some of the air. Finally, I did the right rear. Now what I need to do next is I need to start the vehicle. And in some cases, you need to drive the vehicle. But in this case, you can see where I start it. It shows that the tire pressure now is 35 all around. And the reason starting it works is because it sends another signal to the computer where it might not if the car is off. So that is how you set the pressures on a car with a tire pressure sensor monitoring system.